You know that feeling when the house is quiet, the world is asleep, and your mind starts replaying everything you wish you'd said? Tonight's story begins with a woman who stopped answering calls from her father, not because she hated him, but because some goodbyes feel like they might break you in half. And then on a stormy night, her phone lit up at asterisk 2:17 a.m. with a voicemail that shouldn't exist. A voicemail from a number that had been disconnected for asterisk 8 years. All it said was, "Come to the Lighthouse. I left you something before it's too late." And when she finally went, she found a logbook with her name written inside, in handwriting she'd recognize anywhere.
The next morning, Claire did what she always did when she did not want to feel. She made coffee. She scrolled through emails. She tried to act like a woman who had not heard the impossible. But the words followed her. Come to the lighthouse. She pulled up the number. Disconnected. No trace. By noon, she told herself it was a prank, a coincidence. By 3, she was crying in her kitchen because the lighthouse patch fell out of the closet box like it had been waiting. By evening, she was on the phone renting a car. By midnight, she was driving west through slick highways. The world outside her windshield smeared with rain and reflected lights. As Portland faded, she remembered things she had avoided. Salt on her dad's jacket, boots on wooden steps, constellations named like old friends, and always the last call. You should have missed me when you had the chance. The words tasted like metal. She gripped the steering wheel until her fingers ached. I did not mean it, she whispered, but the road did not answer. The road just kept going. Before dawn, the rain softened into mist. The air turned salty. A small coastal town appeared through the fog. Marrow Bay. A few weathered storefronts, a diner with a neon sign that buzzed, a gas station that looked decades old. Everything smelled like wet cedar and ocean. Claire parked near the diner because she could not bring herself to drive the last stretch. From here, the lighthouse road went out along the cliffs. She sat in the car, watching her breath fog the windows. Then her phone buzzed, a text from an unknown number. Lights on. Claire stared at the words, no explanation, like a promise or a warning. She got out of the car. Mist touched her cheeks. The town was asleep. The ocean was a low, steady roar in the dark. And then she saw it. Marrow Bay Lighthouse, white and tall. Its beam swept slowly over the water. Once, twice. On the third sweep, it seemed to linger over her, like it recognized her, like it had been waiting. The path to the lighthouse was narrow, lined with wild grass bent by wind. Claire walked slowly, each step sinking into wet ground. Her shoes soaked through. She did not care. Her heartbeat was loud in her ears. The beam above moved with patient rhythm, steady, steady, steady. As she got closer, she noticed the gate was open, not broken, not forced, just open. The hinges did not creak. They moved smoothly like someone had oiled them. The grounds were empty. No car, no voices, only mist and the breathing sea. She reached the door, paint chipped, handle cold. She hesitated. Fear is not always about a place. Sometimes it is about what the place remembers. She thought of the voicemail. I am sorry. Her fingers closed around the handle. She pulled. Warm air drifted out, smelling faintly of kerosene and old paper. A soft light glowed inside, gentle, like someone left a lamp on for her. The interior was familiar and not. A spiral staircase rose along the wall. The steps were worn in the center. Framed photographs lined the walls. Storms, ships, coastline. One photo stopped her, a picture of her as a child in a yellow raincoat, grinning, her dad behind her, hands on her shoulders. Claire touched the frame. Dust came away on her fingertip. No one had cleaned recently, but the lamp was on. The air was warm. She climbed. Each step felt like moving deeper into the locked room inside her. Halfway up, she heard a sound, like a pen scratching paper. She froze. The scratching stopped. Then 3 soft knocks from above. She climbed faster. At the top, the lantern room door was slightly ajar. A brighter line of light spilled out. The wood felt warm under her palm. She pushed it open. The lantern room was round. Glass walls showed the ocean in every direction. The Fresnel lens turned slowly, humming. A small desk sat near the window. A leather logbook lay open, a pen beside it. A lamp lit the page. The chair was empty. Claire stepped closer. The page was dated today. Her stomach flipped. 2 words were written in familiar handwriting. Claire came. She turned the page. She looks tired. Another page. She still blames herself. Page after page, as if someone wrote while watching her. Claire spun around, searching for someone, but there was no one, only ocean and glass and turning light. Then she saw the last entry written larger. Tell her the truth. A brass key was taped beneath it, old, familiar, like the key in her closet box, but cleaner, polished. A soft chime sounded on the desk. Beside the logbook sat an old tape recorder. A red light blinked. It clicked, and a recording began to play.
Some nights, the world feels like it is holding its breath. The air is still. The clock is louder than it should be, and every little sound feels like it is part of a message you cannot quite translate. If you were listening in bed, let your shoulders drop. Let your jaw unclench. Let the day slide off of you like a coat you do not need anymore. Tonight, I am going to tell you a story that moves slowly the way waves move. A story about a lighthouse and a daughter, and the strange way love can return to you even after you swear you have lost it. It begins with a voicemail at 2:17 a.m. Her name was Claire Rains. She edited audio for a public radio station in Portland, the kind of work that kept her behind screens, behind headphones, behind other people's voices. She liked it that way. Other people's stories were safer. Claire lived alone in a narrow apartment that smelled faintly of coffee grounds and rain-damp wool. There was a plant in the window she kept promising to water more consistently, and there was a cardboard box in the back of her closet she never opened, not anymore. Inside were letters she never reread, photographs she never framed, a rusted old key on a ring, and a faded lighthouse patch that had belonged to her father, Elliot Rains, lighthouse keeper, or he used to be. Claire did not talk about him, and she did not go back to the coast, because the coast reminded you of what you had done and what you had not. It reminded you of last words, and Claire had a last conversation that ended without closure, just silence. 8 years earlier, her dad called on a Tuesday, a plain day. She was busy, tired, annoyed for reasons that were not really about him. His name lit up her phone, and something in her tightened, not because she didn't love him, but because loving him felt complicated. He said he didn't want to do this over the phone. Claire told him, then don't. He paused and said he had been thinking about that night, about what he should have said. Claire knew what night he meant. the night her mother left, the night the house near the dunes became too quiet to live in. She told him she had work. He said he didn't have a lot of time. That sentence landed wrong. It cornered her. She snapped and told him he always talked like she was supposed to prove something. He said he was not asking her to prove anything. He said he missed her. And Claire, who had wanted those words for years, hated how much she wanted them. So she got cold. She told him he should have missed her when he had the chance. The line went quiet. When he spoke again, he did not sound angry. He sounded older. He said, "Okay, all right, honey." And then he hung up. Claire did not call back. Not that day. Not the next. She told herself she would call when she was calmer, when she had the right words. But time hardened. Days became weeks. Weeks became a month. And then a police officer showed up at her door with rain on his jacket and asked if she was the daughter of Elliot Raines. That was the day she learned her father died alone in the keeper quarters near Marrow Bay Lighthouse. Heart failure, they said. Quick, but not quick enough to reaching for the phone. They told her he tried to call, twice. Claire did not listen to those voicemails. Some grief feels like a locked room. You stand outside the door and you cannot turn the handle. 8 years later, Claire got good at living around that locked room. She worked, she paid bills, she laughed at the right moments, she kept her life tidy. But certain nights, especially when storms pushed in from the Pacific, she felt the old ache, the missing, the unfinished. That night, rain ticked at her window like nervous fingers. She fell asleep on top of her comforter, still wearing her sweatshirt. Then the phone vibrated on her nightstand, once, twice. The screen lit up, bathing the room in pale blue. Unknown number, time, 2:17 a.m. The call ended before she could answer. A voicemail notification appeared. Claire sat up. Her throat felt dry. She pressed play. Static at first, then wind like it was moving through a narrow stairwell, and then a voice she knew too well. Claire. Her stomach dropped. The room felt like it tilted. If you are hearing this, then you finally came back to the sound. Come to the lighthouse. I left you something before it is too late. And honey, I'm sorry. The message ended. Claire stared at her phone until the screen went dark. Silence filled the room, thick and heavy. The rain kept tapping the window, and somewhere deep inside her, behind the locked door, something shifted. Not open, not yet, but moving. Her father's voice filled the lantern room. He said that night her mother left was not because of her. He said her mother was drowning, and leaving was her way of trying to save Claire from watching. He said he let Claire believe it was her fault because it was easier than admitting his own failures. He said Claire deserved the truth. He apologized for waiting. He apologized for not coming to her door. He said he missed her the whole time, even when she did not call. He said he left her permission to stop punishing herself. He told her the key opened the bottom drawer. Claire used the key and opened the drawer. Inside was an envelope addressed to her and a folded map. The map marked a place called the Willow Grove. Claire opened the letter and read it out loud. Her father wrote that love is not a test, and she does not have to earn it by being perfect. He wrote that he knew she loved him even when she was sharp, and even when she did not call back. He asked her to go to the Willow Grove, to the listening bench, and speak what she needed to say. He wrote that he would be there in the way he could be. Claire lowered the letter.
The tightness in her chest loosened a little. The lighthouse light kept turning, steady and patient. Claire left the lighthouse as morning began. She bought coffee at the diner and told the waitress she thought she would be okay. She drove inland following the map. She found the Willow Grove Trail and walked beneath wet leaves. In the grove, a bench waited under drooping branches. Claire sat down and said, "Hi, Dad." She said she was sorry. She said she was scared. She said she missed him. She listened to the willows and her own breath. Beneath the bench, she found a tin box labeled "For the Day You Forgive Yourself." Inside was a smooth white stone, a cassette tape labeled "Claire Stummer Stories," and a note that said, "Play it when you are ready, and if you fall asleep, good. That means you finally feel safe." Claire held the note to her chest and closed her eyes. Later, she returned to Portland and opened the closet box. She placed the old key in a dish by the door as a symbol of return. That night, rain tapped gently at her window. She turned off the light and whispered, "Good night, Dad," and it did not feel like goodbye. It felt like peace.